Hello, today we're going to read a story called Nerdy Birdy, and this is one of my favorites. So I want to show you the cover, and before we read, I want you to look at the cover. When we look at the cover of the book, remember the title is on the cover, the author is on the cover, the illustrator. Remember, the author is the one who wrote the words in the story, and the illustrator is the one who drew the pictures. And in this story, the author's name is Aaron Reynolds, and the pictures are by a person named Matt Davies. And I want you just to look at the cover of this story. When you see the cover of this story, I want you to make a prediction about this story. So let's look at the words. Remember, when we make a prediction, we're looking at words and pictures and making our best guess. And so I'm asking you right now to predict, what do you think is going to happen in this story? So the title up at the top, it says Nerdy Birdy. And I see, it looks like the head of a bird. And I see that because I notice a beak, and I know that birds have beaks. And I also see that the word bird is in the title, Birdie. So let's make a prediction. I want you to stop right now, make a prediction. What do you think this story is about? All right, let's see if your prediction is right. Or let's see if something different happened in the story. So it's always good to look at the front cover of a story and think, what do I think is going to happen? What does the title tell me? What does the picture tell me? And so it's good to look at these things before we even start reading. So let's read this story, Nerdy Birdy, together. This is Nerdy Birdy. If you guessed that this was a bird like I did, it sounds like you're right. His glasses are too big. His wings are too small. He's allergic to bird seeds. Oof. When all the other birds are hanging out together at the feeder, Nerdy Birdy is scrounging for breadcrumbs. Eagles, cardinals, and robins are the cool birdies. And then notice here that this book, even though it's fiction, meaning it's a fake story, even though it's fiction, it has the labels on this page. So it shows different parts of the bird that the author wants us to see. So the wind tunnel tested shape head. I'm looking at the big bald eagle right now. Or the impressively sculpted chest muscles, or the abs of steel, and that looks like it's on the eagle. And then there's the glossy red pompadour on the top of that red bird. It looks like that bird's a cardinal. And it also says also glossy and red, glossy red attire. And then that other one on the side, on the far side, it says beady eyes with superior worm vision, worm-fed physique, feet nothing to do with worms. And so it looks like on this page, it looks like the author is trying to tell us that these kinds of birds are the good birds. And they don't really look anything like Nerdy Birdy, do they? That's a good thought. Let's keep reading. 3 things eagle is good at. 1, hunting. 2, fishing. 3, football. 3 things cardinal is good at. 1, singing like a rock star. 2, posing. 3, attracting fans. 3 things that robin is good at. 1, picking on worms. 2, insulting worms. And 3, eating worms. 3 things that Nerdy Birdy is good at. 1, reading. 2, playing video games. And 3, reading about video games. Eagles, cardinals, and robins don't care about reading. And then here's what the characters say. There's Nerdy Birdy, and he says, "Hey guys, I just read the coolest book." And Eagle says, "Who cares?" And then the cardinal down there in the red says, "Bookworm." And then it looks like the other bird says, "I eat bookworms for breakfast." or video games. They don't care about video games. And then there's Nerdy Birdie saying, hey guys, I just defeated the earthworm king of the wormcraft. And the eagle says, who cares? And then the cardinal says, nerd. And then the other bird says, I eat real earthworms, not digital ones. One day, eagle flew off to hunt. Cardinal flew off to impress fans. Robin flew off to terrorize worms. And Nerdy Birdie was alone. One thing was clear. It was awfully lonely not being a cool birdie. And then there's another thing here that says, why do you hang around with them? That looks like one of the birds in the sky are talking. Here's the yellow bird on the lines. They don't even like you. But they're so cool, said Nerdy Birdie. And the yellow bird says, trying to be cool is exhausting, said the new bird. You should hang around with us. Us? What do you notice about these two birds? I notice that the other birds didn't have glasses, but both of these birds have glasses. That's something they have in common. I wonder if that's a prediction I can make. Here's my prediction. I predict that they're going to have more things in common than just the way they look. Let's keep reading. Us! After all, there's always room for another Nerdy Birdie. Look at all those birds. What do you notice about them? Their glasses were too big, their wings were too small, at least half of them had birdseed allergies, and they all liked to read. And the most of them liked to play World of Warmcraft. They were exactly like Nerdy Birdie. And then he realized something. There were way more Nerdy Birdies than cool birdies. And now they were all his friends. The eagle didn't have any friends. The eagle hunted alone. Cardinal was always showing off, and he had no friends. Know why? Because he was always showing off. Robin was too obsessed with worms to make any friends. One thing was clear. It was awful being lonely, being a cool birdie. But then a new bird moved into the neighborhood. The cool birds were unimpressed. Hey guys, she gives me the creeps. Why does she always wear black? It's so depressing. She eats what? The cool birdies flew away and left Vulture alone. Why would you want to hang around with them? Being cool is exhausting. You should hang around with us. Us? Us. After all, there's always room for another Nerdy Birdie. Right, guys? Hold it. Where are her glasses? Where is her lightsaber? And have you heard of what she eats? Blech. She is most definitely not one of us. Nerdy Birdie was confused, but there's always room for another Nerdy Birdie, right? That's the problem. She's not a Nerdy Birdie. She's just weird. Nerdy Birdie looked at his flock of friends. The telephone wire was packed with them. And he looked at the new bird sitting alone, and one thing was clear. It was awful lonely being alone. This is Nerdy Birdie. His glasses are too big. His wings are too small. This is Vulture. She wears contact lenses, and her wings are enormous. Vulture eats dead things. Nerdy Birdie does not. Nerdy Birdie likes video games. Vulture does not. Nerdy Birdie and Vulture don't all like the same things, but they really like each other. If you ever need a friend, you can hang around with them. After all, there's always room for another. Hi, Birdie. Look how big that bird looks. And then there's the eagle and the cardinal, and the other one saying nerd. All right. Did you enjoy this story? If you enjoyed it, you can watch it again.